All right, what's up and what's going on, y'all? This is Al, Poker with Al. Welcome to the channel. Anybody who follow me right now, appreciate it. If you like what I'm saying, like and subscribe, hit it. This is all related, actually, to the poker web. We're talking about 1-2, low stakes, nothing major, nothing bells and whistles like you see on TV where you got guys with all these chip stacks in front of them. We're just talking about the daily grind of poker. Talking about 1-2, no limit, low stakes, daily grind, able to get anywhere between, if you buy in for 300, which is the highest amount that you can buy in for when you first start out. Other than that, if players have chips in front of them and somebody comes in, they can match the stack. That's how it goes. But when you first start off, first 9 people sit down, or however you start out with, you can only go as high as 300. So that is basically what I set my number to whenever I buy in to play 1-2. I go 300 because that's the max we can bet, that we can buy in for. It's been good. It's been good. And today was no different than the other days than I've been running so far. I've been basing my numbers on anywhere between 150 to 300 and pretty much trying to stay focused to get up, whether I get it fast or I get it slow. Yesterday, it took me a while. I played from, I want to say about 10:30 and didn't walk out of the building till after 5, right? And it was a grind. When it was all said and done, with the $300 buy-in, I was only up roughly about 150 to 200. But that just goes with it. Anybody who plays poker, then you know what I'm talking about. You want to walk in and you wish when you sit at the table that you'll see aces, you'll see kings, you'll see ace king, you'll see all the hands in a fast amount of time to get your chip stack up. But a lot of days it doesn't work like that. Some days other players are going to have that type of day. They're going to have that sun that's shining on them, and you just have to deal with it, and you have to grind, right? You're going to have to grind because it's not going to come as easy as for you as it did for that person. So it took a while, and that's what I walked out with. So I did my other routine where I take my money, like I said before, if you see my other video, I said pay yourself, and I went to the bank. And I took those winnings and I threw them into my account, giving me a $300 in my pocket to go play today. So this morning we got started right up. It probably felt it was right at 10 o'clock that we started, and within an hour I was already up 200. So I bought in for 3. I went up to 5 and $200 in wins. And anybody who plays poker, you know, you could be hot and all of a sudden you could be cool. If you buy in for low stakes, then what you should be happy about is that you get 150, 200, 300, depending on what your lifestyle is like. If your lifestyle is down to earth, where you don't have a lot of things that you want, the necessities, and not the necessities, but a lot of wants, right? Then that number works. 150 to 200 works for me because I can take 50 of this, which is what it's not going to take because I'm already close to 3/4 of a tank. But let's just say if I needed gas, if I made 200, then I could take 40 of that, throw it in my gas tank, and then I'm back on full. You get what I'm saying? So it's those type of things where that type of number does not matter a great deal. But if you got wants where you got to have this and you got to have that, you got to have all these things that come from money, then yeah, you're going to be looking for where the games are large and you can make a lot of money. But me, myself, man, I'm a retiree. I'm in a good shape. I'm in a good circle, good lane. My bills are paid. Everything is handled. And I play poker as a side hustle. I used to do gig deliveries. And that was my side hustle after the pandemic came and showed his ugly head. Rest in peace to those who lost their lives. But that was something that I used to do. Before that, I was actually a buyer and reseller for eBay. So I was actually doing pretty good with that type of business for myself. But the pandemic came, and then I jumped into the gig delivery game. And when I jumped into it, of course, it was paying. Anybody did gig deliveries back in 21, pretty much up to 22, then you know what I'm talking about. The numbers were great as far as getting returns for doing deliveries. You could be anywhere. Just like right now, I'm at 200 in an hour. In the delivery game, back in 21, those type of numbers existed where we were hitting 2s and 3s within 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on your market. And I was in a good market. So those numbers really did exist. I was up early in the morning, early bird gets the worm. And just as early as they started making deliveries, I was on, I would be in the lots ready to go. So I made good money. Now, fast forward in that to 2026, the gig delivery game is dry. There's nothing really there. So luckily, we got blessed with card houses down here in Texas. I was always good at playing poker, but anybody who know from where I come from, when I talk about this, I used to be a traveler. So I had to go out of town, and there's a big difference. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about some other things as far as what I think when it comes to these type of situations. And these are just my opinions. A lot of other players, they probably feel different. Me, myself, my lane is down to earth. All my bills are paid. And then I use this as a side hustle and I try to build it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Pennies add up. That is one of my biggest things I always like to say. Pennies add up. And that is what I'm doing. I'm slow grinding and I'm just letting it build. And I treat myself first. I pay myself first, mainly by putting the money in the bank. That's paying myself first. That money goes to the bank, and I'm not just building a poker stash. My 300 every day is my start out poker stash. If anything happens that I have to go to the ATM, then I'll do that. But right now, I've been focusing and maintaining. And shout out to the professional poker player who I learned this from a while back, and it hit me. I knew about it, but it went in and out. It went in one ear, pretty much out the other side, but I knew it still existed. And a lot of times I didn't take his advice for what he was saying because I found it on YouTube one day. And he said, when you do play low stakes and you buy in for 1, 2, 300, if you double that up, get up and leave. That is a good day. That is a good day. That is what you want, because in the 1-2, it's going to be a slow grind because everybody comes in with certain hands that your mouth will drop when you see what they call with, right? It happens. For the most part today, the table that we're playing at this morning was a good table, respectable, real good players as far as not getting too out of pocket, trying to force the action when they really had nothing. You know what I'm saying? You can have aces and somebody could have, let's just say 5-8. And because they're gambling, they may come in and make it $25 or $30 just to try to get people to fold. But if I got aces, guess what? You just got caught, right? So nothing like that was happening. Pretty much everybody's playing a respectable game, but I just so happened to get so lucky. I had aces that turned into a set off the flop. I had ace king, and I was going against somebody who's a good player, and I know they love playing those type of hands. They don't play mediocre. They play good hands to come in with, and they made it 15. Something told me to call, and I said, well, either we're going to chop or I'm hoping that you got this. But if I get this, I win. This is going in my head. So I got ace king. They had something. They didn't show it. And I think they may have just had a pair or something. Maybe they didn't. But I hit a king with the ace kicker. And pretty much the ace came on the turn. And that gave me ace king. So then I bet at 30. And when I bet at 30, everybody folded. And I took down a pot. So that made my first 75, right? Because 2 people was in it. And that made my first 75. But, it was just a good run. So I had aces, ace king. I got a nut flush. I had an ace three, and I got the club I needed on the river to give me a flush. And then, you know, me and the other person, we got it in. And that's how that happened. When I had the aces, then me and the other guy, did I make it 100? I think I made it, yeah, I made it 100, and they called me. So that is how I got my stakes up pretty quick. And that is what you want, right? Those are the type of hands you want to get in and then be able to hit something, go enjoy the rest of your day. That's what you want. You want to be able to enjoy the rest of your day too. I love playing poker. Back in my young days, I'm married. My wife would have to call me and say, hey, you still playing? I could sit in a poker room, man. And this was back in the days when I really didn't take my game as serious. I would be in there, and I wouldn't be gambling wild, but if I wasn't hitting, I would still be sitting there. And I'm talking about it almost runs to 12 hours. And it can happen. When you card dead, you card dead. And that can happen. So anybody who plays poker, you know what I'm talking about. But this main topic right here is saying, once you get in, right, and you get your money that you're looking for, especially in a low stake game, as soon as you get that, right, if you buying for 3 and you get it up to 5, you get it up to 6, you get it up to 7, right? If you get into a good pot with some players and all of a sudden it makes you 700, then you know that means 4 or 5 people called you. And that's how you got it up that high. But still, if you're able to get that money over the top of what you bought in for, hey, always remember this. There's always tomorrow. As long as you have a poker house in your backyard, there's always tomorrow. You can always get to it whenever you feel. You don't have to travel. You don't have to stay at a hotel. You don't have to eat at a restaurant. Everything's in your backyard. So it's easy, right? It's right there for you to play. All you have to do is learn how to respect the game and make it your daily hustle, make it a daily grind, right? Get to know your players. I don't mean get to know them like know where they work and all that. I'm talking about poker game. Understand who you playing against. Know if somebody's loose. Know if somebody's tight. Know if somebody only comes in when they got that hand. You get what I'm saying? Those are the players you want to pay attention to. And you're going to learn, because when you get the same crew, pretty much, you can't do nothing but help learn from those guys, and you study them if that's the way you play. If you just come in and you never understand a player, that means you're not taking it serious, in my opinion, because everybody that plays around the same players should have some kind of idea of who's who on the table. You should know your player, should know your opponent, and you should be able to respect their game. If they are loose and you know they're always on some BS, then hey, if you think you got it, go for it. But if you know they only bet or they make moves when they know they got a chance of winning, you better respect it. So with that said, I'm out. Y'all be cool. Peace, y'all.